All right, so beginning with your body standing in your place, perhaps on your mat, if that's a comfortable place for you. And checking in. So as you place your feet, being awareness to your feet, the position of your feet, and whether you're working with the outside edges of your feet, the heels, you have that sense of grounding through your feet, and perhaps a little let go at the back of your knees. Finding a place for your pelvis to sit above your ankles, and your chest to sit above your pelvis, and your head to sit above that. There's a sense that you are upright, supported from the ground, as we drop down into the earth through the soles of our feet, checking in that there's a lightness in the head, almost as though we are so grounded through the feet and the legs safely that we can allow our heads to float on top of our spines. And once we've found that, we are probably able to breathe more easily. Find your breath, allow it to flow in, allow it to flow out. Notice what parts of the chest easily fill. Are you able to invite your breath down towards the base of the diaphragm? Let your diaphragm move forwards, pressing the belly out of the way. Just lightly. And as we stand upright and have a slight give at the tops of the legs, we may feel our lower belly, abdominals just toned to keep us upright. Not tight, toned. Sink once more into your feet. Feel yourself standing as if you're standing from behind yourself. Bringing a little more work with the breath. Breathing out, moving the arms forward as you breathe in. Noticing how that may allow you to breathe in a little more deeply. So as your breath flows away, you then lift the breath in, taking your arms forward, and wherever they will go up towards the sky. And you breathe out, letting the arms come down with the breath. And repeat that 2 more times, working with your breath. You can use a little bit of drawing back the abdominals to help push the breath out, if that helps. Keeping a little tone there, and then releasing as you breathe in. Settling back into your feet. And begin with our morning stretch. I'm going to step back just a little, taking your feet a bit wider than hip width. Not too much, just a little. And if you're able to interlace your hands and push the palms away. If that's uncomfortable for your wrists or hands, have them facing the other way. That's absolutely fine. Or even separated. Turn the palms away. When you're ready, lift the arms up alongside your ears. A gentle lengthen through the sides of the body. Then we breathe in here. We lift up onto the left toes and turn away from those toes. Turning all the way around with the chest, the head, the arms. And if you have the balance, looking up towards the hands. Releasing yourself gently back. Keep the arms up if you can. Transfer the weight to the left foot, lift the heel of the right and rotating yourself around. Twisting the body, stretching the arms, pushing up towards the sky and looking towards the hands if you have your balance. Rotating back towards the front, releasing the hands and let them float back down as you return to your standing pose. Working gently with the body and the spine, taking ourselves into a forward bend. So you may want to hinge from the hips, or you may choose to roll down. Whatever feels right for your body at the moment, folding yourself down, releasing the arms, letting them dangle. Several breaths here. Pressing down through the earth as you roll yourself up. Bring the head back on top. Checking in. And you may wish to place the hands onto your lower back as a little bit of support, either with the backs of the hands or imagining you're putting your hands into your jeans pockets at the back, drawing the shoulders down and together. And then when you feel ready, stretching the front of the body by pressing the pelvis lightly forward, lifting through and lengthening the abdomen, the upper chest, dropping the shoulders, and being aware that we avoid throwing the head back. So we stretch and lift up with the ears away from the shoulders rather than sending the head too high. And we breathe there. So if breathing is an issue, you've probably gone too far. As you hold, you may find that you could move your pelvis just a little more, lift the ribs a little more, arch a little more, contract the back a little more. As you come back, push the pelvis backwards, let the head come on top, and releasing the arms. Experience your body. With the feet parallel, if that's comfortable for your knees, or together, if that's also appropriate for you. That's a bit of too much of a balance challenge. You can always take your feet even wider. You can take the side stretches, starting with the feet together if your body will allow, and taking your right hand up towards the ceiling if the shoulders are okay. Otherwise, you could hold the top of your head or simply put your fingertips on your shoulder. The arm could even stay down. Your choice. And then when you feel ready, extend through that right side as you breathe in and allow yourself to leave the outside edge of your right foot as you take yourself over and start to contract in your left side. Keep the breath flowing, keep the body facing forwards, finding that side seam that you are stretching. As you breathe, breathe into your ribs on your right side. One more breath there. And then lifting yourself back gently and releasing your arm. Observing the body, noticing difference on the two sides. Become aware of the outside edge of your left foot. If you wish to, take your arm into the position that is appropriate for you. It could be here, lifting your elbow. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, draw the right side down, armpit to waist to hip, and finding the stretch on your left side. If you're wanting to use the arm, extend it out. If it becomes too much, change that arm position. Release into the stretch on your left side. Breathe to the left. Find that side seam pointing out towards the wall beside you. If you want a little more, push the hip or lift the ribs. Contract the right side, finding the stretch on the left. After the next breath, lift yourself back to center and release that arm. Some stronger moving stretches, waking up the body, waking up the spine. We're working now a little more through the legs. So we started with our forward bend and we placed, let our body hang and dangle. We're going to let ourselves hang and dangle to begin with. We'll begin with a softening of the knees. So as we send the knees forward directly to the best of our ability over our toes, and that's when you may notice that for some people it's more advisable to have their feet slightly turned out so they can track their knees safely. We're going to become more aware of the backs of our thighs. So we're looking to stretch the hamstrings, the backs of the legs. If you stretch the soles of your feet first, that will enable the back of your body to become even longer. Now, keeping the toes of your right foot there, you lift your heel off and you imagine somebody has hold of your heel and they're pulling your foot, but your toes are stuck down, so the whole foot gets longer and your heel ends up being put down about a few centimeters further back, no, probably millimeters, further back from where it started. And you find a stretch to the sole of that foot. Then you can lift the heel of the left foot, keep the toes where they are, and pull as if you're pulling and stretching the sole of that foot and placing that heel further back than it was just now. And you may feel your feet are stretched and long, and almost as though you have heels even further back than they were when they started. And with your feet there, keeping them there, hinging at the tops of the legs, rolling down, bend your knees forward a touch, and fold your chest towards your thighs. Let your arms hang. If you touch the floor, you could place your hands on either elbow and drop the elbows towards the floor. And then begin to lift one buttock by straightening one leg. Bend the knee again, then bend, straightening the other leg. Bend that knee a little, straighten the other leg, bend that knee and feel the stretches in the back of the leg. So we're doing one leg at a time at the moment, experiencing that stretch into the hamstrings, perhaps up into the sit bone. Keep the body as low as you can. If it helps to place the hands behind the thighs, you could do that, or on your shins. And then both legs together, straightening them and letting the body hang. Pressing down through your feet as you come back up. Slowly, 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 particularly if you tend to have low blood pressure, so that your blood doesn't suddenly drain. You feel dizzy. So depending upon your knees, if you're able to, we're going to cross the right ankle over the left. Knees are still apart if they can, and we're standing on both feet. Now, if you find this is really tricky for you to do, then what you might do instead is bring one foot in front of the other. That's a bit like a tightrope walk, same kind of balance thing, and it may, see how you go. If you find this is very unstable, but you'd like to do it, move to a wall and have your hand on the wall, and you can bring your hand down the wall as you fold. Alternatively, you could put your buttocks against the wall and keep your buttocks against the wall and use the wall as a support. So whichever way works for you, if your balance is being challenged with this posture. And we're looking to stretch the legs slightly different. So we're folding once again, so taking your body down, keeping the legs as straight as you go, and you may not go as far as you did. Wherever you end up, feel the stretch in your legs. Use those feet. Work those feet hard onto the floor. Pressing down through your feet to bring yourself back up. Uncross the legs, pause for a moment. Checking in. As we take ourselves to the other side, of course, it may be necessary to use support. If you've got a chair handy or whatever to support you, feel free to use that. Crossing over the legs the other way, at the ankles, if you can. And then folding, or the foot could be in front of the other ones, and you're taking yourself down, and you'll find most likely the stretch in the back leg. Use those feet. Pressing down through the earth as you bring yourself back up and uncross the legs. Experiencing your body. You're taking your legs wide. Nice wide width, moving those thighs apart, working the outside edges of your feet. So here again, if the knees tend to roll in, you may need to turn the toes out slightly. Adjust that for your legs so there's no strain on the knees. Working deeply through the feet. And we'll take a forward bend, a wide leg forward bend to begin with. So you want to place your hands behind you on your buttocks and lift those up towards the sky as you tip your body forward. Endeavoring to keep the pelvis in line with the thighs as opposed to pushing the bottom too far backwards. And if you find the floor with your hands, you can rest on there. If not, rest the hands on the legs. And then press down through the floor as you bring yourself back up all the way to the top. And then we're going to take ourselves through a little standing sequence, working from Trikonasana, the triangle, through Virabhadrasana, the warrior, into down face dog, and a Mukha Shavasana, or turning around the other way through a wide leg forward bend and back up the other side. Begin by turning your right foot around, it's about a right angle with your left foot. Left heel could go away a little if you feel you wish to, and bring the pelvis back into the middle so the chest and pelvis are nice and level. And then the arms are going to come out to shoulder height. If you find it tricky to keep your shoulders down when you do that, one of the ways is to imagine that you're lifting off a jumper and taking it out to the side. That will bring the shoulders down comfortably, and then you can turn your palms any which way you wish to. Extending out through the hands from your heart. Breathe in, and then tipping over to the right, keeping that lovely length through the side of the body, left side lengthening. The arm, if it's comfortable, can go up. Of course, it can bend if you wish to. The right hand can rest on the inside of the knee or on the shin, and you open the heart. You can look down towards that foot or turn your head to look up towards your thumb. Grounded down through the feet, strong through the center. Feel your body aligned. Lifting the arms back up, shoulder height, bending the right knee over the ankle. So you may not be quite as wide as you could sometimes go into your warrior, that's fine. Breathe and look along your right hand as you turn the palms towards the floor. Going into battle. And then bringing your forearm to rest on your thigh at the front. You could extend out over the top. Bring that. If you have a wide enough stance, some of you might want to go a little wider, and bring the hand down on the inside. And then you're bringing the left hand down to the floor, the right hand on the outside, turning the back foot around into a long, wide lunge. Keep that back leg nice and strong.
Then stepping your front leg back to the other one, rearranging your feet to go into your down face dog. Lifting the heels, stretch the buttocks up to the sky, pull the buttocks away from the wrists, and then if you need to, bend the knees to push the heels down a little more. Then you're stepping your left leg forward into your wide lunge. You're going to go around the other way. So I'm switching sides so that you can see and hear me. And then we press down through that front leg, turn the back foot to the floor and bring the forearm onto the thigh, rotating gently, extending the arm into resting. Keeping the front knee bent, lifting the arms off, back into warrior, the other side. Check your position, chest, pelvis, outside edge of the back leg. Straightening the front leg, the left leg, tipping the body over to the left into your triangle, Trikonasana. Looking down or looking up. Lifting the body out of your triangle, turning the foot back to the center, releasing the arms and folding down between your wide legs. If you're able to, walk your feet back towards each other in your forward bend, back to your normal width. And staying there, hanging, dangling, and notice if your arms are lower than they were when you started. So if it's safe for you, the hands can come as you bend your knees and drop down into a squat. If that's unsafe for your knees or your ankles, please come straight down onto your body, and we're coming to lie on our front. So you can swing yourself around, bring your knees down, or simply come to lie on your belly and rest with your head on your hands or your head turned to one side, whatever feels right for you. Those who require some support because their feet are a little uncomfortable there can use their blanket, roll it up and place their feet on top of a blanket. So the ankles rest on the blanket, and that allows the legs to be more comfortable and avoids the toes pressing down hard into the floor. Allowing yourself to stay here with your face down and breathe, experiencing that breath expanding in the center of your body. That wonderful natural curve returning each time you breathe out as the lower back sinks down. So from there, we're coming up into a Sphinx gently. Remembering that for those who need to, if this is too upright for your back at the moment and perhaps there's a pinching in the lower back, you may want to move your elbows even further forward and perhaps rest your forehead there. If your lower back feels reasonable in this position, you can have your hands, palms in front, or bring your palms together and press down through your forearms, feeling that lengthening through the front of the body, shoulders floating down the back. Beautiful breaths. Checking in whether letting go of the buttocks a little, letting them rest, or wriggling the pelvis from side to side helps to ease the lower back. And softly releasing yourself back down, bringing your head onto your hands if you can. And taking your right hand away and letting your forehead rest on your left hand or turning your head to the right. Bend your right leg towards, heel towards buttock. And if you can't get hold of it, just leave it there. It can be up towards the sky. We're looking for the stretch along the front of the thigh and towards the hip flexor. If you're able to take hold of your foot without disturbing your body too much, or if you want to put a strap around your ankle, and then you can rest with your forehead down and find the stretch in the front of that thigh. Slowly releasing that leg, and then changing hands. And bend the other leg up where you find a stretch across through your quadriceps, the front of your thigh, pelvis. Taking hold or not, depending on your body. Forehead on the hand or head turned to the left. Invite the pelvis down to the floor each time you breathe out. Slowly releasing that leg. Checking in, pausing once more in the center. Bringing the elbows alongside the chest, pressing down through the forearms, engaging the abdominals to lift the pelvis up off the floor and walk your elbows back so that if you have a padding underneath your ankles, they remain there as you take your pelvis towards your heels. If you can't get your pelvis to your heels, that's okay. Or you may want to make fists of your hands to drop your bottom down and let your head stay a little more up. Slowly, if you're able to kneel up, if you need to sit to one side for a moment, please do that. And if you have a bolster nearby, or you have some cushions that you're using as a little bit of support, you might to grab that. Not everybody will necessarily need it, but it might be useful to explore it first as you go along. So you could have your blanket rolled up tightly into a roll. Actually, I've rolled mine rather badly, so I'm going to re-roll it, opening it out a little bit because that makes a firmer sausage. And you could have that height, or you could have higher. And you could even, if you needed to, join the two together and have them higher. We're going to explore the camel. So the camel is quite a strong back bend, and it requires length through the front of the thighs, length through the front of the hips, and the length through the front of the body. It's contracting the back, but what I'd like you to avoid is crashing into your lumbar. It's irrelevant how far you go with this pose. If you're beginning it and taking yourself wherever you go, then you're doing it. You may want to begin, if your feet are unable to flatten onto the floor, start with your rolled blanket or cushions underneath your ankles as a beginning place to be. Then bring your awareness, if you need padding for underneath your knees too, you can put that depending on what the surface is underneath your mat. You may want to put like padding if you've got a hard floor. And bring awareness to the pelvic bones and allow the gap between the thighs and the pelvic bones to begin to open. And you may begin to feel a stretch through your quadriceps, the front of your thighs. So we just stretch them, so hopefully they're feeling reasonably able to be stretched. But they'll only go as far as they go for you. So press your pelvis forward and find that stretch in your thighs. There can be a tendency, and probably happens quite a lot, for us to move our whole body back. But what we're really looking for is a curve. So from the knees, we want to come up to the pelvis and then curve the back into our back bend. Let's not take it too far. Placing your hands, as you did before when you were standing, either on your lower back or hands into your pockets. Hands in your pockets position is quite useful because that brings your arms around ready for the full pose, but please do what is right for you. Press the pelvis forward, draw the shoulders back and down, and beginning to lengthen the front of your body. We're not going too far. Might be far for you, and that's okay too. This is where you start, and you're breathing. And you'll notice I haven't thrown my head back. Whilst throwing your head back may feel as though you're doing a longer, deeper back bend, all you're doing is more from compression into your neck vertebrae. Release out of that, give a little wriggle. If you wish to, drop down and come forwards. Just to release your lower back for a moment in the pause. And that may be your practice for today. That may be where you are going with your camel. If that is where you're going with your camel, what I suggest is that maybe you put one hand into your pocket and you allow the other arm potentially to lift and lengthen through that side of the body. You could have your hand behind your head. You could lift your elbow at the front. You could put both hands behind and lift, which is a very strong move. So I will leave that to anybody who wishes to play with that one. If you are happy to explore your full version of the camel today, and the idea of your hand reaching your heel is ludicrous for the moment, I would suggest, if you have one, lots of cushions or your bolster, and put your feet on top of your bolster. So that lifts your heels up towards your buttocks without you having to do anything. And perhaps there, as you bring your pelvis forward, you may find that you can easily reach your feet with your hands, and you can begin to arch your body away from there. And you may want to gaze towards the ceiling. For those who find that is very easy for their back, you could tuck your toes under, lengthen and feel your heels and lift your body. Remembering to press that pelvis forward as far as it will go. And for those who have either long arms or very bendy backs, you can find flat feet and lift. And when you're ready, ease your way out of your version of the camel and dropping your buttocks slowly down to your heels if that's comfortable, and rounding your back. Take your time to come into your child pose. If you prefer, roll onto your back and hug your knees in. And when your back feels as though it's being comfortably stretched, bring yourself back up to the center and find your seat sitting on the floor. You may be able to use, you may want to use the edge of a blanket underneath your sit bones to tilt your pelvis slightly further forward. And if you're able to, take your legs to a comfortable width. So there may be some sensation, there may not be any real sensation here. Your legs are as wide as your thing. If you have sensation on the outside of your hips, that probably means you've gone too far. If that's feeling it here, I would suggest you bring your legs in a little bit. If there's nothing here and nothing here, you'll probably get something here as you fold forwards. Of course, if you don't get anything here, then you'll need to take your legs wider. Some of you may choose to use your bolsters during this, depending on whether they're handy, you have them, or you want to use them. So we're going to begin by taking ourselves forward down the middle. Then we're going to take ourselves over one side, over the other side, and then back down the middle. So it may be interesting to experience what it is like for you as you go forward the first time, without any sense of having to be somewhere. It is what it is. Yes, just right, Goldilocks. Not too hot, not too cold, not too much, not too little. The right amount of stretch sensation that you find is beneficial for you. Toes up towards the ceiling. If you like to, you can draw those sit bones slightly further back. We're looking to be towards the front of them. If you find simply sitting up here challenging to begin with, I would suggest you put your hands behind you and use your arms to push your pelvis forward wherever it goes and stay there. And you can work from there. It's absolutely fine. Those of you who can do that and come further forward would then release their hands forward and draw their body down. If your head is heavy, uncomfortable, this is where your bolster can come in, and you rest your bolster under your forehead and you come down in that way, which you probably can't hear very well when I'm behind the bolster. So coming forwards for yourself wherever you end up and allowing yourself to be there. Let the head release if it will, or support it. If you want to experience slightly more grounding practice, you could take up Murti Mudra. That's interlacing your fingers together with your right thumb on top of the left thumb, and then extending your little fingers out so they're straight, everything else is interlaced. Just the little fingers extended, then you can rest those hands in that position on the earth. And this gesture assists in stability, grounding, and helps us to maintain our asana. When you're ready, slowly bringing your body back up, pausing in the center, then turning yourself towards the right. Draw the heart, navel across gently towards the right. Keeping your left buttock, sit bone down. Begin to move your way along, down towards your right leg. Wherever you go to is fine. Again, the bolster could be used possibly across your thigh to rest on. Check in with that left sit bone. It's not coming up off the floor. And you may notice this is more of a stretch on your left side of the back, potentially. Perhaps a stronger stretch on the back of the right leg. Maybe a deeper stretch on the inside of the left leg, depending on what's needing to or wishing to stretch in you. I sometimes like to cross my right wrist over my left if I'm in this position to assist in that left shoulder coming around and down. You could always put the arms the other way up with the right hand holding the left one down. Place the hands either side of the leg and lift the chest slowly away. Then turning the body back to the center when you're up. Checking in. And rotating navel slightly, chest more around towards that left thigh. Feeling a beginning stretch perhaps more on the inside of the right leg, the right sit bone staying down, right heel staying down. And a little lifting up through the front of the body. And as you slowly let that body come down, using your bolster again if you wish to, either on the inside or wherever it works for you. Find your stretch on the right side of the back and the right leg and perhaps the left leg too. What do I experience? What is it telling me? And is this appropriate, my stretch? I'm avoiding straining. I can stay here. I can stay and I'm okay. So for some people, you may be right up high, hands either side of the knee, simply looking towards your foot or looking down towards your knee. And you have a stretch, and you have work going on. You're releasing your connective tissue. That's all that is required. And as you practice this, you may find the body says, okay, and then you can move again. We know that if we say to ourselves, that's right, it can also help us to move a little deeper. So we go to where we can go, and then we say to ourselves, that's right. If there's anything left, allow yourself to sink a little further. And then slowly back up to the center. Checking in with your body. And once more, hands can be behind as you hinge, or the hands in front. And notice if you're a little closer to the floor. Perhaps your elbows were way off before and now they're nearer the floor. Perhaps they were on the floor but they can go further forward. So wherever you are, or maybe now your legs want to go just a little wider to find the same stretch you had in the first fold. Let go of resistance to the best of your ability. One more beautiful breath, and then slowly bringing yourself back up. Easing your legs in. And you might want to give them a wriggle or a wiggle. And bending your left foot. If it's possible for you, posting that right foot underneath if your knee comes low to the ground. If not, leave your right leg straight. And invite your left leg on the other side of your right leg. So if your right leg is straight, you'd have your right leg out and your left leg crosses over. So whichever way you're doing this for a seated twist. Sitting up as tall as you can, take your right arm around your left knee. If you can get the elbow around, great. If not, don't force it. Move any abundance out to the side. Lengthen through your body. And as you rotate, take your ribs, your heart, your throat, and finally, perhaps your head. Sit tall. Find your spine. And imagine, if you wish, that your spine is a spiral staircase. And it's rotating and you're running up the stairs as you twist. From the back of your waist, run up your vertebrae that are attached to your ribs, or your ribs are attached to your vertebrae, as if they are a spiral staircase. And you can run up them all the way to the top between your ears. One more breath here. And then gently releasing the body back to the front. Untying the legs. Sliding the left leg under if it's appropriate for you, or leave the left leg straight. And bring the right leg across, lifting yourself tall. So where do I experience the stretches? If, remember, ankles, everything needs to be padded if needed. You're safe. Safe may be the straight leg version. You bring your left elbow around, you move any abundance out to the right, and you rotate to the other side. And you can spiral up your staircase once again in the other direction. Deep breath in. As you breathe out, release yourself around back to the center and untie your legs. Stretch them out for a moment and gently fold over both legs. And bringing the body back up when you're ready. Taking hold of your bolsters, your blocks, your folded blankets, whatever works for you. And you can bring yourself gently up to sit. If you have a chair handy, you could use a chair, whatever is appropriate for you. You could be kneeling around your bolster, or you might want to prop things up around under your knees, whatever feels right for you. We worked on the legs, worked on the spine, and as you come to sit in your position, your upright back, what do you notice? Where are you comfortable? How is it feeling? And could you stay here for a while? If you're feeling a little cool, you may want to wrap a shawl or pop a blanket around you. And draw up through the crown of your head from your sit bone, from your tail. Allow the shoulders to release down your back. We're going to adopt our Aki-Nee Mudra today. So this is making bowls, if you like, with your hands, spreading out your fingers, having your fingertips pointing up and rounded fingers, like 2 cups, and then we bring those 2 cups together. So we have a bowl, a circle almost, in the middle. And we can rest that gesture in front of us by our navel. If it's a lot, you can rest your forearms on your thighs. Allow your shoulders to release, bring your head on top. Perhaps allowing your eyes to close or your gaze to drop. Allow the gesture to settle into your body as all aspects of your being begin to become integrated into one whole. Aki-Nee, a goddess of wisdom, and this gesture for integration, unity. We may bring our awareness to the left side of our body, as if we could allow our breath and energy to flow to the left. This is our quieter moon side, Ida, quality of quiet and contemplation. instinctive nature, thought nature. The cooler, feminine aspect of our being. And transfer your attention to the right side of yourself, the whole of the right side, the sun side, Pingala, the male dominant side of our body, center of action, doing, represented by the sun, the ha of hatha, and then spend a moment with both together, integrating your left and your right, the sun and your moon, your Ida and Pingala, hot and cool, action and thought, the contemplating and the doing. And then draw your awareness to the whole of the back of your body, the whole of the back aspect of your being, which is our unconscious aspect. We are less aware usually of our back. We can imagine that this is where we hold our deep beliefs, our own truisms, fundamental truths. We draw our awareness to the whole of the front of the body, the aspect of us, which is our personality, our talents, what we present to the world. And we integrate back and front. We integrate the unconscious with the conscious into a whole, a unity in harmony together. And draw your awareness to the lower half of your body from your waist down. The material aspect of your being, the stuff we are made of. We're grounded, all that we have, all that we need. And then from the waist up, aware of our higher self, our higher truths. Moving towards our spiritual aspects. And we integrate our inner wisdom with our material aspects. And we become whole. A harmony between the physical and the spiritual. And then we integrate all, the left and the right, back and front, bottom and top, into a whole harmonious unity. Finding balance. What do I have too little of? What do I have too much of? May I find more of what I need. I let go of what I no longer need. May I be whole, well, safe, and happy. Bring the palms of the hands together at the heart. Anjali Mudra. Take a deep breath comfortably around the chest. Sending yourself a message of unconditional love. You can join in if you wish to with May I Be. Breathe in. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be happy. Ariam Tat Sat. Namaste.